Many Canadians contemplate their economic future as we approach RSP deadlines, but many Canadians admit they don't have a full financial plan. Daniel P. Reeve of DPR Financial says you can meet your goals and avoid a rocky road to retirement. He joins us in studio today. Thanks for coming in on this. And really kind of a little bit of frightening news as we head into this kind of real rush on RSP season. And we've been talking about them this morning, these new ads that are out saying, you know, are we saving enough? Apparently not so. And it says, you know, some of the ads saying, you know, you could wind up in retirement flipping burgers or doing whatever. And saying, save more now or else. Pretty stark warnings that we're not doing enough. And you'd think with all... Since RSPs came into being and the kinds of things that we could do, you think we'd be in good shape, but we're not.
Not at all. In fact, most of us need a big wake-up call because we just have had too much of life get in the way. It hasn't been the priority it needs to be, and we've got a lot of work to do. And
you've got some figures for us to take a look at, and one of the things that you say that you can do, for example, with $6,000, but someone might put $6,000 into their RSP, and I think we've got some graphics that we can bring up to show you how that breaks down. $6,000 per year, and then leveraging $100,000 loan. Explain why one would be more preferable to the other.
Well, one of the first problems with the RSP program is that Canadians just aren't saving to the capacity that they want, and the average household is, in fact, about a $6,000 annual contribution. So there's the first problem, is you're just not putting enough in. The second thing is because many of the accounts aren't being managed, it's not getting you the yield that you want. And then lastly, of course, is the taxation, and that's really what this shows, is a lot of times in our investing, people take somebody else's medicine. Okay, so this is really like being invited over to somebody's house for dinner, and you excuse yourself, and you go in and you go through the medicine cabinet just to see what, you know, might be interesting to you.
Nice.
Well, that's what people are doing when they just blindly do an RSP if they don't have a written plan and some sort of course of action. So here's just an alternative to RSPs. And here's an individual putting away $6,000 a year. They do this for 20 years. They're actually putting away $120,000. If they average 10%, it's going to grow to $361,000. But by the time they RIF it, the tax consequence is going to mean that they're going to give up about $166,000.
Meaning unwinding it, taking it out when you reach retirement age.
So they have considerably less to deal with. About $195,000 is really the net amount. Now, their neighbor, something bothered them about the RSP program. It just didn't seem to register. They thought they'd try something different. So what they did is they secured a line of credit. And the best ones are no collateral, no margin call, interest only. These are available, but you've got to source them out a little bit.
Search for them.
So here's an individual borrowing one time $100,000. They also have $6,000, but they don't make a contribution. They use it for interest payments.
Okay. So they take the same money, they pay the interest down on the $100,000.
Still get the same tax deduction.
Okay. And still same money out of pocket.
For sure. And they're compounding on 100, not 6,000. So what happens is they end up with $672. They pay the loan back. They pay the tax, but the tax is capital gains, not income tax. So what happens is they actually wind up with more than twice as much money. And this is available, but most Canadians don't know about it.
Difference.
Sure, this is how you create wealth.
Daunting, though, initially to say, what, I'm supposed to go out and borrow $100,000? You know?
Well, you know, it's interesting. We talked to a lot of folks about that, and properly done, you know, working with their risk tolerance and their level of understanding and comfort, it can be the best thing they ever did. But like anything else, leverage can maximize returns, or it can be a disaster. So you've got to be smart about it. I don't like the idea of using the house or other assets you worked so hard for. It's not necessary anymore. But the other thing you should keep in mind is if you're going to do this, you better have an advisor who's going to step up. And in our industry...
Well, ultimately, you're saying you need an advisor because you need a plan.
So, for sure. And this is the problem. Most Canadians do not have a written financial plan. Now, interesting, an Ipsos Reid survey recently here said that about 23% of Canadians have a financial plan. It's just in their head.
Oh, okay.
Now, I know a lot of advisors, but they're not very good mind readers, so there's a bit of a problem there. So we need to have something in writing. And if we don't have a written plan in writing, then we cannot determine what our personal rate of return is. And this is the number you have to average in your portfolio to hit your goals. If you don't know what it is, then what happens is you are literally lining up the bank or working with your broker, making an investment, and you're flying blind. So I like to tell people, this is what it's like. It's like, you know, you go on holiday and you jump on the plane and you've gone through customs and that experience, which is always a lot of fun. And you buckle up, and here the pilot comes on the plane now, and you hear him over there, good afternoon, everybody, welcome to Mystery Air. I have no idea where we're going today, and actually this is my first flight, but how hard can it be to fly this thing?
Yeah, good point.
You know, and that's what's happening. So you have to have a plan to keep you on track.
Get an advisor, get a plan, stay on track, and take a look at what you'll have at the end of the day, because I guess for a lot of people it could could surprise them if they don't get with it. Thank you
That's
so
right.
much for coming in.
Always a pleasure.